Good morning, traders. I am Emily Bonney, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Tuesday, May 21st. Today's moves follow another mixed but record-breaking session on Wall Street yesterday. To start the week, the Nasdaq notched a record close, thanks in part by shares of NVDA, adding 108 points or 0.65% to end at 16,794 points. The S&P 500 held on to a gain by just 4 points or 0.09%. The Dow slipped 196 points or about 0.5%. Bill, let's dive into Tuesday with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. We're showing green. We are showing green, but the change in the day is 0.00, so we're really as flat as we can be. There's not a whole lot of catalyst events in terms of economic reports today, but there is a lot of Fed commentary, and any one of those Fed officials could really provide some sort of commentary that could move the market, but they gotta provide some clarity, on their positions, because tomorrow we get the Fed meeting minutes coming out, and that is going to be, expected to be a hawkish report. So they're going to be out there trying to really kind of soothe the markets in front of tomorrow's Fed meeting minutes. What else? That Microsoft Build conference gets underway today. You're going to see a lot of AI noise coming out. IBM is making a lot of AI announcements this morning. That's kind of interesting. That's positive for the markets. You look at IBM; it's trading up 0.4% this morning. On the earnings front, you had a lot of a couple of tech stocks coming out with last night with on earnings. Lowe's is doing okay this morning after releasing earnings. And you have NVIDIA next week, NVIDIA coming out tomorrow afternoon. So market will be paying attention to that. In terms of what's happening overseas, we're looking at the overseas action, and we are seeing some weakness. I gotta tell you, you look at the German DAX; it's down 95 points. That's 0.5%. Germany's producer price increases, it actually decreased to 3.3% on a yearly basis. Estimates were calling for a 3.2. That's actually positive. The prices are dropping a little bit. You're looking at the FTSE. The FTSE's down 32 points or 0.39%. Call it 0.4%. You're seeing some weakness in energy and materials this morning. The CAC is down 1%, or 84 points. Last night, overseas action in Asia, we have the Nikkei dropping 122 points, which is only 0.3%. Then you have Hong Kong and China. Hong Kong dropped 2%, 2.12%, or 415 points. China dropped 13 points, or 0.42%. There's a lot of questions going on about their new economic stimulus package that they put, where local governments are going to be encouraged to buy some of the newly built homes that are out there. Fitch Ratings is out there saying they're concerned. They don't really see this stimulus package plan as a surefire way to success. So there's a lot of concern there, and that's in Hong Kong market has been running hot for the last 3 weeks. So, it was due for a little bit of a correction. And today it had that, or last night it had that correction dropping, over 2%. And then you're keeping an eye on oil this morning. Oil is falling. We got oil down about 1.5%, a little over 1.5%. You got WTI at $78.34, and Brent is trading $82.25. The market's really cautious today, really because of what the Fed's saying about how rates being being higher for longer. That's concerns about economic activity, which is a concern for demand. Yesterday I mentioned, that a market legend once told me that copper prices tend to rally right before an economy boom happens, and we are seeing, increasing prices in copper and gold. You know who that legend was? It was Ivan Boesky. He passed away yesterday, but Ivan Boesky was the one that told me that last year. He's a good guy. I got nothing bad to say about him. He was always a pleasure to deal with. But that's what I have for you in terms of morning market update report, Emily.
Bill, sharing some extra insight this morning. We do appreciate that, adding that note along with the market moving details of the day, which we're going to get through now throughout this show, including earnings action. And you mentioned economic events, Fed speaks, you'd be keeping an eye on. Then, of course, the day's other market moving events. We're going to first start with earnings action. Bill, give us a rundown of what is going on there.
We're talking Zoom Video Communications, ticker ZM, Zebra Michael. They beat by 16 cents. They did it on higher revenue. Stock's down 1.84% this morning. We're talking Keysight Technologies, Keys, Kilo, Edward, Yellow, Sam. They beat by 3 cents and they did that on higher revenue. Keysight is down 2.94%. We're talking Trip.com, ticker TCOM, Charlie, Oscar, Mary. They beat by 30 cents on higher revenue. That stock's down 1.17% this morning. And Palo Alto Networks, PANW, Paul, Apple, Nancy, William. They beat by 7 cents, and they did that on higher revenue. You look at Palo Alto Networks this morning, stock is trading lower by 6.42% this morning. So, I didn't like any of those going into earnings, and I mentioned that yesterday. I just didn't feel confident on them for one reason or another. Upcoming this afternoon, we have Urban Outfitters, ticker URBN. Uncle Richard Boyd Nancy. Their EPS is 49 cents, and the expected move here is 9.15%. We have Target Stores, TGT, Tom Grace Tom. Their EPS is $2.05. Expected move is 7.56%. We got ADI, Apple David India. This is Analog Devices. Their EPS is $1.26. The expected move here is 3.48%. Then you got TJ Maxx, TJX Companies. Ticker TJX, Tom John X-Ray. Their EPS is 87 cents. Expected move is 4.24% when they release tomorrow morning, Emily.
Bill, you did make a note there that, you weren't really feeling a lot of those earnings yesterday, but you did make a pick. And coming up, we will catch up on that by the end of the show. So stick with us till then. But for now, we're going to get to the economic events, which is a whole laundry list of Fed speak. Important to watch because it can be market moving. These Fed officials are trying to give clues on what is going to happen next. So paying attention to that is important. So Bill, give us a rundown of what we should be watching when it comes to economic events.
Well, I mean, everyone's preparing for tomorrow's release of the Fed's meeting minutes. Yesterday, in his remarks, Atlanta Fed Bank President Raphael Bostic, he acknowledged a gradual economic slowdown, but maintained his forecast for a single rate cut in the fourth quarter of this year. Vice Chair Philip Jefferson and Vice Chair of Supervision Michael Barr, they echoed those kind of that cautious stance, stressing that more evidence is needed to see cooling inflation before doing any policy easing measures. Today, we're going to be hearing for a slew of Fed Bank officials again today. I mean, at 9 a.m., we got Richmond Fed Bank President Thomas Barkin giving a speech. Also at 9, we're going to hear from Fed Governor Christopher Waller. Then at 9:05 a.m., New York Fed Bank President John Williams will be speaking. Then at 9:10, we got Atlanta Fed Bank President Raphael Bostic giving another speech. At 11:45 a.m., Fed Vice Chair of Supervision Michael Barr will be speaking. Then at 7 p.m. tonight, Atlanta Fed Bank President Raphael Bostic will be doing double duties. He speaks again, giving another speech 7 p.m. So, there's a lot of Fed speak going on ahead of tomorrow's Fed meeting minutes release, Emily.
And Bill, you're keeping track of all of that, which is quite a bit, using your NewsWare, breaking it down into alerts. You have alerts set up for economic events and Fed speak, as you've told us before. When those meeting minutes come out tomorrow, you'll be able to see them right away. You also have alerts for your earnings releases. And again, you're also watching other market moving information, things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news, other catalysts. You can also watch certain trends in different sectors or segments, or look at stocks grouped together like your FANG stocks, your Dow 30 stocks. So Bill, what else do you see as possibly moving the markets today?
Just doing a quick data check here. I'm looking at my Dow Jones stocks. I'm showing 17 higher, 9 lower, the rest unchanged. I'm looking at my, FANG stocks. Apple's showing a small gain. The rest are trading slightly lower. So, we're flat to higher this morning. Up 0.02%. We'll see if we're able to hold those gains or not. Looking at some of the news behind the headlines, like I see Amazon has been accused of using intrusive algorithms as part of its surveillance programs to monitor and deter union organizers. Okay, I don't think that has any effect on the stock price. Google, on the other hand, Google is trading down slightly today. They preemptively paid the U.S. government in an attempt to try and avoid a jury trial in the Justice Department's antitrust lawsuit over its digital ad business. Yeah, that's probably not good enough because they're going after them. Tesla, ticker TSLA. I saw this come out this morning. The city of New York. Remember, this is the pension funds, the teachers fund, the firefighters, the policemen's fund. Uh, they're out there urging shareholders to vote against Elon Musk's pay package and against directors, James Murdoch and Kimball Musk, Elon's brother. They're saying don't vote for this package. These two guys are no good, and Musk's pay package is extremely too rich. So yeah, interesting stuff going on for Tesla. The stock price really needs to rally for him to be able to get shareholder approval for that pay package of his. We're talking Dow Jones 30 stocks, and we want to start off with IBM because they're coming out with a slew of AI announcements this morning. They put out one about, their partnership with Saudi Arabia. They put out another one about their partnership with Salesforce.com, whereas they're kind of integrating Watson AI and Einstein One into a platform. It's kind of interesting. You look at, IBM this morning, up trading slightly higher, up a little over 0.3% this morning. We're talking J.P. Morgan, ticker JPM, John Paul Mary, talk of Jamie Dimon's retirement plans really weighed on the stock yesterday. I mean, he's not seeing about predicting a successor, sometime within 5 years, so it's not imminent, but the market really reacted negatively to that yesterday. Microsoft, they got that Build conference going on today. Remember, they had that AI conference yesterday. They introduced a new AI-powered laptop. Stock really rose. Well, Microsoft seeing more gains today because yesterday the stock was at 420. It's already at 427. It's up almost $2 today because the Microsoft Build conference typically comes out with some positive AI announcements. So keep abreast for AI announcements out of that Microsoft Build conference today. What else do we have going on here? We're talking guidance news. We're talking Zoom video, ticker ZM, Zebra Michael. They see Q2 EPS coming in $1.20 to $1.21 a share. Street estimates $1.23. That's a downtick. We're talking Keysight Technologies, ACQ3 EPS coming in $1.30 to $1.36. Street estimates $1.45. That's a big downtick. KEYS, Kilo Edward Yellow Sam. And Palo Alto Networks, PANW, they see Q4 adjusted EPS $1.40 to $1.42. Street estimates $1.41 in the middle. Okay. But those stocks are taking a hit today, that's for sure. Then we got shareholders meetings today. JP Morgan, ticker JPM, they got their annual shareholders meeting going on today at 10 a.m. GE Healthcare, ticker GEHC, General Edward Henry Charlie, they're having their annual shareholders meeting also today at 10 a.m. Then we're talking buyback news. We're talking Lam Research Corporation. That's ticker LRCX. Larry Richard, Charlie X-Ray. They announced a $10 billion stock repurchasing plan plus a 10-for-1 stock split. I mean, listen, I saw that stock up $40 earlier today. So Lam Research Corp, ticker LRCX, really showing some nice strong gains this morning. Then we got some catalyst calls going on. We got Gap Stores, ticker GPS, John Paul, Sam. Citibank opened up a 30-day upside catalyst watch list on Gap Stores. And then NTAP, Network Appliances, Nancy Tom, Apple Paul. Citibank bumped up its price targets, and the stock's on a 90-day catalyst watch list for Citibank. So it is kind of one to keep an eye on. I do notice that JP Morgan's Global Tech Media and Comms Conference wraps up today. Oppenheimer's having its biotech bus tour today. A couple things to keep an eye on. But that's what I have for you about news hitting the tape and things to watch out for this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk Pick of the Day. Bill, what is your pick of the day today?
Go with JP Morgan, ticker JPM, John Paul Michael. I mean, the fact is the annual shareholders meetings today. Yesterday, you heard Diamond talking, and he mentioned about his retirement. He was talking about how it could be 5 years. He'll be picking a successor, which really he's a Titan CEO, and when a Titan CEO retires, those stocks take a hit. Always. This is what happens. Remember when Sandy Weil of Citibank left? I mean, that stock, never really recovered. But, JP Morgan, yeah, it will take a hit when Jamie Dimon leaves. But that's not happening, today. That's not happening tomorrow. It's still in the future. It's years away. But the stock sold off hard yesterday on the news. I think it's going to recover some of those gains today. I think Diamond, when they do their annual shareholders meeting, I think Diamond's going to be highly cautious in terms of what he says about his retirement. They're going to be talking up, more about their growth that they have in the loan business, and I do think we're going to see a turnaround happen today. So, I think this is a good one to get into. I'm looking at yesterday's call volume. I have 131. 260 on the call side yesterday versus 110, 643 on the put side. That's positive. The open interest, 425K versus 474K. It's not even. It's more on the put side, but I still like it. Major brokers are mainly, they are positive. The price targets are being pulled back a little bit, but they still like the stock. So I do think we're going to see some, positive activity, some recovery in JP Morgan today. But, in terms of an entry price, I want to get in, low 196 or under. I'll pay up to 196.20 on the stock. But that's my pick of the day. JP Morgan, John Paul Mary, 196.20 or under. That's my pick of the day, Emily.
JP Morgan it is, looking for that entry price, trading it off the news and hoping to get in at a discount this morning. We will follow that along with you. And coming up, we will do that recap on yesterday's pick of the day, as I promised. So stick with us. But first, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
Eli Lilly, ticker LOY. They have a drug showing efficiency in Crohn's disease from a pivotal phase 3 trial. DRRX, David Richard X-ray Durek, received FDA breakthrough therapy designation for one of its drugs. Dell, ticker DELL, David Edward Larry expands its AI factory with NVDA to accelerate AI adoption. Macy's reported Q1 gross margin 39.2% versus 40.0% last year. Merchandise margins declined 100 basis points. Stock's up, 50 cents with 2.62%. You got Snowflake reporting earnings tomorrow afternoon. Stock will move, over $18. NVIDIA, that's set to move $91 when they release tomorrow afternoon. Sanofi Partners, ticker SNY, Sam Nancy Yellow, they're partnering with OpenAI to accelerate drug development. AstraZeneca, ticker AZN, they see significant growth from their existing oncology, biopharma, and rare disease portfolios. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Sony Music has sued Marriott in Delaware federal court, accusing the hotel chain of, in a lawsuit made public Monday, of using more than 900 of its artists' songs without permission. MasterCard Visa, there's little evidence that the big fee hikes imposed by U.S. On retailers has led to major improvement in the service. JD.com, the Chinese retailer, is raising $1.5 billion via convertible bond sale. Lyft and Uber, a California top state court, today will consider a labor union's challenge to a ballot measure allowing the app-based services such as Uber and Lyft to classify drivers in the state as independent contractors. They definitely don't want to have them as employees. That would really hurt those stocks. That's all I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we dive into trading on yesterday's pick of the day, which was Kanzun, that's ticker BZ. They did report earnings this morning. The company reported a Q1 adjusted EPS of 17 cents. The consensus here had been 14 cents. They reported a Q1 revenue of $236 million. The consensus there had been $234.33 million. The company said their average monthly active users for the first quarter of 2024 were 46.6 million. That was an increase of 17.4% for the same quarter in 2023. They also mentioned that total paid enterprise customers in the 12 months that ended March 31 were 5.7 million. That was an increase of 42.5%. Bill, you weren't loving any of the other earnings that were coming out. You did look at this company mentioning that, they do recruiting and that conditions were better for that in China. But you were trading this one yesterday ahead of this announcement. How did your call work out?
It worked out. I mean, listen, I'm data dependent. There's got to be the data there. It's got to be there. I'm willing to take a risk, but I got to see, positive data flow. And I got to tell you, the other guys, they were coming out, Zoom, Keysight Technologies, Palo Alto Networks. There was something wrong with all of them, and I just and they're all trading, significantly lower today. But BZ, I mean, listen, look at the numbers. Stock opened up at $22 and a penny. And it did fall down from there. It fell down to $21.91. But then as soon as it crossed back above the opening price, you knew it was time to buy. And then it ran all the way up to $22.67, which is like, that's like, that's more than 2%. And it closed at $22.63. So it closed on that near that high range. So yeah, I mean, I was cautious yesterday with my 2150. I saw print hit the tape at 19 and it scared the crap out of me. And I was thinking, man, I got to lower it but initially my paperwork, I was showing, 21 as my entry price or I was showing 22 as my entry price. And sure enough, when it fell down after and then crossed back over that opening price, you knew that it was going to start to run. Sure enough, it did all the way up to over 2260. So, when it closed over 2260. So BZ was a winner yesterday. Take the money, walk away, call it a day. And that's how you got to play some of these earnings right now because especially on the tech sector, you don't want to hold a lot of these tech stocks into earnings because they're just so volatile, and everything's got to be priced for perfection. Remember that before NVIDIA's release tomorrow. But that's what I have for that. But I call it a winner, so I was happy with the results yesterday, Emily.
That is definitely a win there, Bill. And we will check in with you tomorrow about today's JP Morgan pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow and each weekday morning at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Bonney, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.